Huh? What's up, whoever's there out there? Somewhere out there. I gotta get better at scheduling these because this was not scheduled until like a half hour ago. But y'all should know. What up, guys? We're live. So.
Hello.
Yo.
Yeah, I was just closing up some tabs.
How's that going for you?
No, it was oddly what it was like 10 different build guides to different characters in League of Legends.
Gotcha.
So it was just like a lot of stuff.
Was Element trying to jump scare the viewers? Just said no. I mean, this is the Yoda's Hut stream. It's casual. It's just chatting usually, so there's no intro. I don't know.
Intros are for the
Would
weak.
you guys get scared if I just came in, like, just came and went, "Hello, guys"? That's how I started.
Hello.
Hello there.
Oh my gosh, like John Hammond. Hello, John. Hello, Captain. Hello, Brando. Brando Calrissian.
Peppington.
I was trying to, yeah, I mean, you got it. I was trying to combine all our names into a Star Wars name. Brando, Cal, Rizian, Peptica, Masala. I like this inspired by Tim Burton playlist.
It's very Halloweeny.
Yeah. Halloweeny.
You said,
It's why vampires can't get pregnant.
Damn.
Damn.
It's true though.
He said vampires. I've been starting to do that a lot
He said
more.
can't.
I've been starting to do that a lot more. Like when somebody says like doo-doo or like something that you would say wow and just take out of context, I'll be like, dang, he said excited.
One I really enjoy doing is whenever anybody like mentions 69 and they're like, ah, nice, and I'm like, I don't get it. Oh, moon landing. Got it. Nice.
What up, Connor? You made a dick joke, huh? I didn't.
PP.
In the TT.
We're all dick jokes now. Are you guys
So-
ready for the finale?
So you're just gonna be like Brando, Calrissian, PP?
Yep.
That's the name. Yep, all my life.
God, I do hate that line.
It's like as a kid, you're like, dude, I've been.
It's also like, that's not true. You weren't flying stuff until you were at least, what, 5? At least?
At
You
least.
probably don't have memories until you were like 3 or 4. That's a good question. When was everybody's first memory?
When is the earliest a toddler will even just walk upright? 3? 2?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I think it was
I know-
close to 2 when my nephew was first walked.
So I do have some pretty early memories. I just don't necessarily recall the order, but I would have to be 2 or 3 years old. You know, one of them is very specifically like there was an apartment complex that we lived in that had this tree. Now the thing was probably in the middle, but my brain was like, it's an indoor tree. What is this? It was probably just in the center of like a thing. That and a like a party from when I was really young, and I remember that there were what I thought floating faces, but it was actually people who drew on balloons. So I was young enough to like not be able to fully comprehend them. So yeah, it was pretty young. It was 2 or 3.
I don't know. My earliest memory was in the Bronx because we moved here when I was 2, so it would probably be close to 3 as well. Just playing with the snow in front of our apartment on Steuben. I didn't know it was Steuben Street back then when I was 3, but I was just, fire hydrants and stuff. The usual, late 80s kid on the streets of New York, just running around, taking caps off of hydrants and running through them. Played a lot with smoke bombs. Again, I didn't know they were smoke bombs, but that's because my brother was massively mischievous. I say that 3 times as fast. Baby, we built this house on memories. Is that a lyric? Dan, Craig said, "Shake it till you see it."
I think it's a play on the "We Built This City on Rock and Roll" maybe that has been in Daredevil a couple times. In the most painful ways possible.
Just to circle back to your original question, I'm super pumped. I really don't know what's going to happen in this episode, to be honest. Maybe we'll see Frank. I mean, he's got scenes in the trailers, not the ones we saw, right? I mean, we're staring at one right now.
Mm-hmm. But this was, I think, from an older season, right? Because he's got the cowl with the blackened back.
Okay, but Baby Pep and Chico makes me smile. And calling Choco Chico makes me smile.
How have you been, Connor? How's life going? You still working at the at the shop?
Now it just sounds like we're trying to make a broth and just massively failing.
A broth of what?
I don't know. But that's what people do during Halloween. They make concoctions in a cauldron of unknown.
You said.
You said unknown.
You said.
Dude, my nephew, they just left today, but my nephew was so freaking funny the other day. We had family come over, and they were all peppering him with questions and stuff, and he was all shy. He was trying his best to keep up with the conversation, but when the questions got too much, he hid behind the chair, went goodbye. I was like, what? Where did you learn that?
That sounds like something I would do.
That's something that I had done behind chairs, under tables, inside of clothing racks at shopping stores.
Oh, yeah, that was the best place.
And
Especially
give my
when
mom
you
a
had
heart attack.
Especially when you had the circular clearance rack, and you could just go inside the middle and just hide.
Yep. That's 100% the ones I'm thinking of.
Shit. It's 6:00. Do you know where your Daredevil Born Again finale is?
Born Again.
There it is.
Hey, who's that in the thumbnail?
I don't know.
I should probably join.
Maybe. React. That would be actually really funny to try
Just
and do.
watch you guys. Oh!
Well, no. So what could be done for a funny video would be the audience would have to guess who's not watching.
It's kind of like that. When
who's
they
not
play,
listening to the same music or whatever.
Yeah, they play the song and people have to dance, and you're like, who's not dancing to the song? You got that one person doing this. They're usually white. Not to make
It's
this
true.
political. I'm coming to San Diego in July, by the way. Oh, snap.
Nice.
I can
San
drive down
Diego.
then. What's happening in July? Cal, the song you mentioned is actually titled Back in Black, not Black in Back. Jesus Christ.
All right.
That would be a horrible symptom.
Goodness.
Black in back. Maybe a case of like frostbite down there. I don't know.
My head went in a different direction entirely.
What, like big old booty? What else?
No, we'll let it be a mystery.
What else is in the back that can get black?
Oh, also, so I started playing Devil May Cry, and but I think it's the wrong one. I don't know.
You're playing 4, right?
I started playing 1. For some reason, 4 won't launch. I'll have to fix that. I started playing 1 where it's just DMC Devil May Cry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not it. The one that's just DMC with like the young Dante with brown hair.
Yeah.
That's not it.
What is it?
That's a reboot that they tried and it failed, so they said, never mind, sorry.
I totally forgot about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is so cringe edgelord in it, and I don't like it.
To be
This was,
fair,
this was
a lot of Devil May Cry is edgelordy stuff, but that one was very cringe edgelordy stuff.
Okay, because I was gonna say
Not comedic edgelordy.
This was the first one that that they had tapped Ninja Theory to do, and they totally tried to like flip the script on it, and it just failed miserably.
Yeah, no, it was awful.
I was
remember
like,
the minute I saw it, and it wasn't like the Dante that we're familiar with, like with the shorter to shoulder length silver hair. I'm like, why? We already have a good recipe.
Okay. I started because I started playing it, and I was like, oh, okay, well maybe he turns into it. They even made a joke where like a white wig.
A wig falls on his head. Yeah, no, it's awful.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's coming in the future, but like, and then he's like, I don't know, he starts the game like naked after like having a threesome, and he's just like, I don't know.
I'm so edgy.
It was just weird, and then so I just got to the part where like it was like his mom was an angel, and I was like, wait, what? So I was thinking,
It's not.
I'm glad I told you guys this, because I stopped and I was like, I don't like this. I think the anime is way better than whatever this is.
Welcome to the first iteration of Devil May Cry Legends lore. It's not canon. It's horrible. Jeez.
The best part about this though is your reaction to it, having not played the others, because exactly what you're feeling is exactly what people who've played the others felt when playing it or watching trailers, and like, no,
I never bought
no,
it. I never bought into
I don't
it.
like it.
I saw the trailer and I never bought into it, so I didn't even give it a chance.
I worked at GameStop at the time it came out, so I borrowed it. They have a thing that if there's pre-owned games in stock and there's multiple of it, you can like borrow it for a few days.
Yeah.
And so I did that, and I was like, oh, I played 10 minutes of it and brought it back.
Okay. Thank you. I feel vindicated. I was like,
2 is not great. I
Why are
think one
people?
and 1, 3, 4, and I haven't played 5, but I heard 5 was really good too. But there's one character they added to it that I really wasn't into. So
So, just out of curiosity, like I actually really liked the fact that it leaned into hell not actually being a biblical hell,
Mm-hmm.
and that it was another realm.
mhm.
Um, that had been separated. That's why their DNA strands were, similar because of it's a common ancestor. And I really liked it leaning into that. I can't remember what they were called, but um, does do the games lean into that, or is
Yeah.
that
It gets crazier, but yeah.
It's I mean, again, the anime that's on Netflix is largely the events of the first game. There's some
I've heard
okay?
that that's not true.
well, there's some creative liberties, but essentially, well, they Arkham isn't like the perpetrator of everything. But it's still kind of they're going for his amulets. They're trying to open up the gateway and stuff, and so I mean, lady is or rather Mary is acting on her own of because Arkham is doing it, right? But in the anime, it's it's just because demons. Well, there'll be more. It's getting spoilerly for at least Chaco now, but it is the events, like narrative wise. They want his amulet.
Yeah.
They want to open up the gates.
and, and also to say this is not meant to be canon to the game, right? This is still telling its own thing.
Yeah, but you still get the same lore. You still get Mundus
Yeah.
and Sparta and all that stuff.
So I thought I was playing like an actual remake of the first game, and I was like, I hate this. I was like, no wonder people were mad because it's very different, but this is bad. Okay, I thank you. I appreciate that.
It's to put it in comparison. It's like when God of War, like the new God of War, and then God of War Ragnarok came out. I went and got the very first God of War to play because I'm like, oh, I want to kind of see like the OG version, and I was like, oh, this is stupid. I turned it off when it's like, yeah, no, it's a very similar start of that game where it's just, I get it.
Yeah.
He fucks. Who cares? Like, this is the worst. I hate it. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right,
Episode.
the finale of Born Again. Connor,
Kill the music too.
Connor and everyone's probably watching it already. Here we go.
Probably.
In 3,
Stop the music.
2...
Nope, stop the music.
Music stopped.
Okay, I just I couldn't hear because I was busy talking.
3, 2, 1. Oh, I forgot that's where it ended. Okay. Okay.
See, that's how you do the bullseye logo over an eye, not the weird hologram inside of the eye.
One year ago.
Wait.
What?
I was just tracking the name in my head. It was a girl from Punisher season 2. Oh, I hate her.
Enabler?
That's not enabling. That's manipulating. That is.
Looks like a Crayola marker. So did she contract him to kill Fisk?
Potentially, I don't think so though.
No. She was just trying to get him to kill Foggy,
Mm-hmm.
and then, but he wanted.
Well, I was talking about this scene right here.
I think this is a
he's just
revenge thing.
Revenge?
Yeah, I think he was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
From
I
the
think he
end of
assumed that Fisk
season
was
3.
the culprit. No, I don't want to. I don't know, count my chickens before they hatch, but I'm actually already a little disappointed because I feel like it's too soon to have a finale.
Stop hatching eggs, or let them hatch.
I know. I'm just like,
I mean, I too want more. You're not wrong.
we'll see how well they do. But like the last episode was this peak crescendo, right? And we wouldn't like spend time in that arch before we end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or it would have been a good spot to end a season.
If there's one more, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're supposed to be. I thought they're already signed on for at
Yes.
least another season. If not, I thought I heard something
I
about
believe
2 more.
2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah. The finale is just him in the hospital bed the whole time.
It could work if the final frame is a flatline.
Ooh.
And then you hear, "Born again!" And
And
you're
then
like,
Adam Warlock from the MCU shows up and you're like, oh, this is getting weird.
freaking multiverse.
Is that muscle shirt? Or is he that big?
Oh, he's a beast, bro. Yeah, he's...
Red Hulk?
Red Hook.
Oh.
She's crazy, but so is he, so it works.
Why is she so invested in them being innocent? Is the problem that I have with her right now.
I think she just thinks that Matt is like... Buck nasty.
He looks like this guy looks like we have Tobey Maguire at home. And John Hamm.
Yeah, they had a baby, and it's
The,
weird.
the fusion dance from Dragon Ball.
He gonna have a hospital fight. Okay. And Frank's gonna save him.
With a gunshot wound to the shoulder.
Odd question. Would all of the street level hand to hand superheroes realistically all have cauliflower ear?
Depends, but they might have tough ass ears. You know, like Luke Cage don't.
For sure. You think Orange Man fancies himself Wilson Fisk?
Unfortunately.
She's going home.
And listen for a while.
I imagine there's a citywide hostage situation in the future.
I like the discordant like sounds when something's going on.
I just now recognize that as killing him softly. He sounds like a karaoke version though.
In love with his words.
Yes. Not playing patty cake with these fanboys.
Good job, Karen.
Rub
You know it
off.
was Karen who called him.
It's gotta be, right?
Really could have used him more in the show. I thought there was a dog
How
in the
dare
apartment
you.
building.
Oh,
You thought
that's
that was
just
Punisher
Peach.
barking?
Yeah.
Cool.
Ooh.
Is that a shot? Yeah. Well, I think it's my favorite shotgun.
Nope.
I can't see the scene though and not think of him being like, "There's my little boy saying, get him, daddy."
I miss his grunts.
Jesus.
Which one's the devil in the room? The one that's dressed as him? Or the one that doesn't have any problems killing?
Or the one who's the straight up murderer.
You can know. It's probably not getting his deposit back.
I mean, can we say buddy cop for them? I want to do a buddy cop story with them.
What happened to the guy in the car?
He got out and left. As soon as it caved in, he booked it.
No, I saw him get out. I just
Karen?
wonder, like, yeah.
Yay!
The thing I like about just how I'm thinking about it is, it's like everyone who's Ubering to Comic-Con.
100%.
Except you see multiple Daredevils and Punishers. Just put a couple of gauze. Frank's good. Things are looking good for season 2 if she's back in the picture. It's good to see you. How's it going, fried noodles?
I changed my mind. I like that guy now.
This guy?
Yeah, he sucks, but like in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
He's greasy, but like
Mm-hmm. Slimy.
Is this safer streets initiative? Something special about that number?
Probably.
nope.
It's the coffee.
Adrena dick.
The hot coffee. My return flight's in the morning. Oh. I was hoping it would be something good.
Yeah.
How has this initiative meant safer streets so far?
Oh, it's. I mean, it's not. It's not going to.
That's the whole point.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Woo!
Can someone get Dexter here to analyze that? Nah, he's not talking.
They're trying to frame him for something.
Or recruit him or something.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they have to know he's not joining.
No shit.
What?
Non-lethal only. Yeah, that's not gonna work.
And they're still doing non-lethal.
Oh.
Damn, that guy's dead.
Traitor.
Buck, I bet.
This camera. Is he? Is he? Does he have a driver? Or is he moonlighting as an Uber driver? Those are some thick zip ties. I like how their logo looks nothing like a skull and it's like a mind flayer.
You got some red on you.
Jeez.
That was extra.
It's like a world on fire.
What army? What
The
army?
defenders.
I don't like her anymore. You think he's starting to regret it? Grease Monkey?
No.
Oh my gosh, that's psychotic.
God, it's good.
That look. Take notes, Anakin. Is that the army that he's thinking of? Caged vigilantes?
This is anyone that would be in his way, anyone who disagreed.
No, I'm talking about when Matt said we need an army. It would be all of the vigilantes that Fisk has caged. Gosh. Isn't that a comic run, Man Without Fear?
Yeah, it was always like the tag for Daredevil. Whew. Well, I'll say this.
Well, 1 second.
Definitely has me excited for season 2.
Skip credits happens when there's a credit scene. Cat punching bag. Punisher show?
Hopefully. I still want Luke Cage to come back. Ah!
Yeah.
I was really hoping they would have an after credit scene to like show him at the club again, like.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Oh shit! That would be so sick. Ah.
All right, so what's the general consensus, or not the consensus? What's everybody feeling? I know that there was some reservations with the
Excitement.
family.
Well, I am frustrated in just in general with how Disney Plus has done a lot of their shows, where we get a penultimate episode that introduces something, and then like the end just happens in the next episode, and there's like, you know what I mean? Like there should have been more, you know, like Book of Boba Fett. We get it. Cad Bane shows up at the end of the second to last episode, and you're like, you're doing this now.
Yeah.
But with this going into a follow-up season, it means that they got time to cook. So,
yeah, which further frustrates me immensely, because I feel like Disney Plus is hampering a lot of creativity with their episode mandates, right? It's the same problem with the trilogies. You're kind of giving somebody a finite amount of room to tell their story, and this happens with Star Wars, as you mentioned with Book of Boba Fett, but also additionally with Acolyte. And I feel like they need to greenlight a story rather than the season. They can figure out how many seasons it'll take to tell the story, but I would rather them greenlight the story itself so that the story is told. And, you know, with this cliffhanger and with this kind of climax that's happening right now with the finale of Daredevil, I'm more forgiving of this of this conclusion, because like you said, they have room to cook and there's going to be another season. But like this monster rears its head more powerfully with shows like The Acolyte, because towards the end it was getting to be really, really exciting narratively, and to just have that. Nope. At least from a acolyte standpoint, but from like if they do Stranger or they do the Tragedy, then things might be a little bit more, I suppose, mended on that front. But I think having a season 2 of this show helps immensely.
Yeah, definitely.
How'd you feel, Cal?
I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, the way I look at it, this could be its own contained story, right? And it could just end here, right? And I would be satisfied with what we got, but knowing that it's a season 2, it makes sense. I think Disney Plus does run into the issue of they just need to get content out. So instead of having like a 20 episode season or something like that, where they're shooting and things like that for a long time, you get it in kind of 9 episode chunks, right? And for shows that don't have multiple seasons planned, it doesn't work. But thankfully, in this case, it does, because there is more to follow. So, like, if there wasn't going to be a season 2, I'd be pissed, right? Because I'd be like, all this makes me want is more Daredevil, and we're not going to get any.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, for people that are fans of the Acolyte, I'm sure they're in a similar feeling, right? Of like, I want more of this. You guys left it at a kind of a cliffhanger, and I want to know what comes next, right? So I'm glad that it's not going to be the case with this, but like, I do think the show is a risk for Disney, and I think it's one that's going to pay off, because they haven't really made a show that's as gruesome as the show was.
They leaned into it this episode. Holy crap.
I mean, they de-jawed and split a dude's head in half, right? Like, or in thirds.
That was gruesome.
It was horrible. But I also think that like they're kind of testing the waters, because they know that, I feel like they did it first with Deadpool, right? And they saw that they could get away with stuff, and that like this is stuff that people enjoy, and then they're like, okay, well, now let's test the waters in the show atmosphere. And so hopefully, the reception of this being as positive as I hope it will be, means that we're probably going to get a Punisher show. We're probably going to get more action and stuff like that in Daredevil season 2, and hopefully the traction it gets shows, because like at the end of the day, what people watch, what people spend money on, what people talk about online is what fuels them to make new content. So hopefully, people talk about the show a lot. I would like more Daredevil. I would like them to bring in more of the Defenders with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Give Finn Jones another chance. I'm now on team give Finn Jones another chance.
Yeah, put money into getting him some better training at actual kung fu.
Well, he's gone on the record recently being like, listen, I know. I've seen the criticisms, I've heard the criticisms, I get it. Give me another effing chance, is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'd be in for it.
You know what? Okay, he's leaning into it. Okay.
Because I think he plays the Danny Rand side better, well. I just don't think he does the Iron Fist side well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
but give him a
everyone
chance.
knows my feelings on him playing Iron Fist. But if he came out and acknowledged the shortcomings and wants to take a crack at it and improve, I'm all for giving him a second chance. Shout out to
and
Dominic
also
Sanchez and Asian Batgirl Afra. How's it going? This season tried to gaslight me into thinking it was good. Surely it can only go up from here. There's certainly some issues for sure, but
I think we ended strong, but I do agree, especially comparatively, that this this show started off weak, and like there's a lot of stuff that I would have seen. It's sometimes I do have a hard time because like now that I understand that what I thought they were going to tell is not the story they wanted to tell, I have to factor that in. But I'm still disappointed of like, okay, kill Foggy first episode. You know, I want more lawyer stuff. I think everything just needed more. We needed 5 more episodes. That's what we need.
I mean, need, no. Want, yes. Like, I'll never say no to more, right? But I also think that, like, at the end of the day, it's money, right? How much money are they allowed to put into a show, for casting, for everything, right? Like, it always does come down to money, unfortunately. And I guess I'm looking at this the same way I looked at the sequels for Star Wars. I wasn't expecting to get more Daredevil, right? Could they have done more with Muse? Yes. Could they have done more with Foggy? Of course. They've said he's going to be in season 2, so at least at the very least, flashbacks and stuff like that. There's other storylines and things like that that they could talk about or go into or whatever the case might be. But I think also at the same time, too, there's a lot of people that have read the comics that know different stories and stuff like that, want to see those portrayed in live action. But at the same time, too, like, we have those stories, right? We can go and read the comics. They haven't gone anywhere. Yeah. And while I am somebody who would have loved more Muse, like a lot more. I could have seen an entire season that's just about Muse, right? If we're only gonna get 3 seasons, I'm fine with what we got, right? Like, or you know, only 2 seasons. Who knows? They might wind up not doing the 3rd one, but like, I always come at it from the perspective of like, there could have been no Daredevil.
Yeah.
They could have just said, no, we're not doing Daredevil. Sorry, Netflix already did it. We don't want to touch it. We're done. Like, we're not going to do it. And so for me, really enjoying the character and the kind of boots on the ground hero style stuff to it all, and like the court cases and things like that. For me, I'm really pleased with what we got. Could it have been better? Sure, everything can always be better, right? And I don't think that's what I want to harp on. For me, I want to talk about what I did love with it, and that's a vast majority of it.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped for season 2. I'm content. I like what we got.
I think for sure
it was a good meal.
I think for sure the narrative that they have in place going into season 2 is a lot more exciting than the narrative we got going into this season 1. Like,
yeah. Oh, I mean,
reshoots,
we that establish a narrative, and there was issues. I know that they basically had to redo the show at one point.
Yeah, they'd filmed 3 episodes already, and then had to kind of like redo it all.
So yeah, no, I feel like next season is going to be a banger. Also, I said it before, I'll say it again. It's timely without being timely.
Hopefully it's not inspirational. I'll just say that.
What Fisk is doing is straight out of a dictatorship playbook, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what they do. He cut out the power to create all this chaos, so that he comes in and fixes the chaos, and people look to him as the savior. That's exactly, that's what they do. They create problems that aren't actually problems. This is fascism 101. And I just earlier in the season I got into it with someone because he was like, they're just trying to make this anti-Trump, and I was like, honey, no.
Also, what's wrong with that?
He's just doing those things. This is
what everybody has seen all along.
This is what Palpatine did, in Star Wars, right? This is there's a crisis caused, and then they're the only people that can save it, so that they create a system where they have to stay in power in order to do that, and they leverage that to recreate a system however they want. That's what Julius Caesar did. Like this is fascism 101. And so if you're noticing a similarity,
The call's coming
They're
from
not.
inside the house.
They don't have anything deeper than pro-Trump in their minds. You know, having parents that are huge supporters and having these weekly discussions at the dinner table. It's quite frustrating, first and foremost, but it's also like there's gloss over the eyes when it comes to that stuff. So when we talk about like these cautionary tales, or like the stuff that's clearly, you know, bad behavior, it's not something they see. You know, just like with the stock markets crashing, the market went down like double digits during the Biden administration, during the I think it was during the election.
during COVID,
Well, during the election, there was a slight
there was a dip. Yeah.
dip, and they blamed Kamala Harris for it. And this crash, which has resulted in the loss of trillions in the global economy, all they're saying is, let's wait and
Just
see.
give it time.
Let's wait and see. You know, and I'm just like, this is their modus right here. You know, everything that was bad under the other party is a holding pattern with their party of favor.
I mean, you can't bring logic to a place with no logic and expect it to like have any effect.
Not at all.
Unfortunately.
Which brings me to a small little tease that I want to let everybody know about. Dyad and the Force is partnering with Get Free for their new Project Fulcrum initiative, where we will be talking about a weekly newsletter that seeks to educate people on fascism and steps that they can take to fight against it. And we'll be doing this weekly with our coverage of Andor as well. They'll be releasing weekly newsletters that contain snippets from Nemec's manifesto. And they'll be, you know, raising awareness and educating people on all of the telltale signs and just kind of getting people aware of the pipeline that leads to radicalization in that vein. And they've provided some key art to that effect. This is Project Fulcrum by Get Free. You can go and sign up to the newsletter at bit.ly/Project Fulcrum. And we'll be covering the newsletter weekly as we cover Andor, because it is very relevant, and it is, you know, relevant to the discussion right now, especially with the martial law that was enacted during the episode. And lots of similarities and parallels you can draw between the mayor and Orange Man. So join the fight. I know they emailed you.
Officially have a place in Mexico that I could go to at any time. So that's dope.
But yeah.
I was being prepared. I think martial law is going to be declared in about 2.5 years.
Asian Batgirl Afra says Colleen Wing is Iron Fist now.
She needs to be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Colleen Wing.
I'd be here for that for sure.
You also asked, why did Pun Pun go into a fight without a plan? Does Frank typically plan it out? Or does he just prepare himself?
Both. I mean, but he typically will have a man in the van that helps out.
Guys,
Depending
Micro.
my see my take on a plan typically goes to the extremes of like Batman, like prep time essentially. So I don't think that Punisher has that level of prep time, or
nowhere near Batman. But I got to be honest, even Batman doesn't have the same level as Batman.
yeah, I know, yeah. It's propped up by the fans for sure.
Yeah, 90% of Batman, he's like on patrol, stuff happens, and then there's a crime, and then he prepares to solve that, and that's where the prep comes in. But yeah, that's it.
Want to know who I think will join Daredevil's team? I mean, immediately Cal said the Defenders. You know,
Young Avengers potentially with
Yeah.
Hector Ayala's niece.
Okay,
Right?
yeah, we could get.
Yeah.
We
is she called
could
something
get
else?
White
Does she
Tiger,
just take up
White
the
Tiger in here. We could get.
The only thing that I don't know or I'm not too sure about that with is with how kind of bloody the show already has been, bringing in, because like I can't picture Kamala Khan being next to somebody getting his head squished.
Her reaction would be priceless.
There's
though.
definitely toning issues for sure across properties, but I think so. Like, if they do bring in some of these characters, you're right. Like, there's no way they're standing side by side, but they can have moments where they're like the guy on the monitor, right? They're in a different part of the city,
New York.
and they're part of the plan, and they have their role to play, and they're all PG about it. And then when it goes back to Daredevil and Punisher, they're all kind of PG-13R about it. Because Connor
they
makes a
just
great point. Because
say-
Kate Bishop's stepfather
Yeah.
is held captive. So
Well,
she
that's what I was
makes
kind of
sense.
thinking of that too. Well, not to mention there was like some violence a bit in Hawkeye, but like also they are also getting older as well. So who knows?
Yeah, we'll get Echo in there too. I just wonder, is Haley Steinfeld still down for this type of thing? I don't know. I hope so.
I don't think she's expressed differently. You know, has she?
Yeah, I got nothing.
All I know
But
is
yeah,
all I know is Haley is the type of person that is eternally down. You know what I mean? Do you think he calls on She-Hulk?
Yeah, I hope so.
And Scar.
We don't have to talk about that.
I'm just imagining the levels of violence if you put She-Hulk in with Punisher and Daredevil, like a punch can
she'd
do.
be just kicking people's torsos off.
Yeah.
But I don't think she's the kind of person who would want to kill either.
No,
So like I feel like she would be
tossing people
jumping
balls and stuff.
between Punisher and whomever he's trying to shoot and just tanking the bullet.
I would also like to point out,
But I'd be here for that. Dynamic.
I'd like to point out that I'd be shocked if Daredevil hasn't killed a lot of people. If you throw a baton and hit someone in the head like that,
The way he hit that dude, being like, "No, don't kill him." I'm like, I'm pretty sure you already shattered his temple, and like he did.
or at least please kill him, because he put him out of his misery.
Yeah,
He's now a
he's
quadriplegic.
bleeding
and-
internally in his skull right now.
I mean, yeah, it's the eternal Batman problem, right? Like in
It's the Spider-Man hitting somebody
in,
with a
was it BVS?
manhole cover.
in BVS when he drops like cluster bombs and like,
Yeah.
and it's like, there's no way nobody died in that exchange there.
I mean, in BVS, he just outright murdered people.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, but like Cal said, Spider-Man hitting people with a manhole cover.
They're done.
That I don't know if you've ever tried to pick up a manhole cover. They are very, very, very heavy.
What does Google say an average manhole cover weighs?
25, 30 pounds? Or more than that.
Oh no.
250 pounds.
Yeah.
Lightest 90.
I'm just with
They're absurd.
with that thought though. I'm just wondering how anyone
I couldn't lift it.
how anyone can tank Cap's shield being thrown at them by someone with the super soldier serum. Would that not, like, the amount of force?
Vibranium absorbing impact. Why no one shoots him in the kneecaps either? I
That
don't
thing
know.
doesn't obey the laws of physics.
But then if it was if it was absorbing the impact, then it would go clean through.
No, it just wouldn't. It would
No,
hit
it
them
would
and
be-
fall. Honestly, it just and would do nothing, but that also wouldn't be fun.
I
So yeah,
just
no,
like
it
to
doesn't
think
obey
that
the laws of physics.
Cap's shield being thrown at anyone that's not like enhanced would
It's
it would
definitely
be
breaking ribs.
I mean, nothing the Avengers do technically works. I always laugh about Ant-Man, how inconsistent they are. Like, okay, you shrink down, you're just changing the distance between the atoms. You're like, oh, so he can hit. So it's like hitting like a bullet because you're the same mass, and you're like, if you weigh the same, but you're the size of an ant, that that doesn't quite work. And then also, when they walk around with like a truck on their keychain, you can't hold it.
Yeah.
Well, there is that disconnect of him when he falls in the shower and breaks the porcelain. But it's like, and yet he can run on someone's gun, and they're not like, oh my god, there's like 200 pounds on the end of my wrist. Like,
Or it doesn't affect the trajectory of the Hawkeye's arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know.
Yeah.
that's-
So there's
that's all part
there's a
of the
disconnect with physics. That's what makes it
We're
fun.
having fun. We're having fun. You know.
I do like the fantasy that Spider-Man realistically at 100% could just like punch someone's stomach out. Or
His
their head
punches
off.
would pierce.
Mm-hmm.
At his strength, they wouldn't impact. They would pierce.
They would go in. Well, that's why I really do enjoy the scene of him in the airport in Civil War when like he catches Bucky's punch, which has like toppled a super soldier in Steve, and he just catches like, ooh, neat metal arm. Like, and even Bucky's face is like,
I mean, that's
something's not quite right here.
that's not even the extent of it, right? Like in Amazing 2, he catches a car pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, he catches cars, and you know, I mean, the big example we talk about
catches
is when
people.
is when he punches Scorpion's jaw off of his face, like off of his face, flying through the sky. That was like when Dr. Octopus took over Peter's body.
I thought it was Rhino.
No, it was Scorpion.
Okay.
But yeah, he
Misremembering.
punches him in the jaw and it flies off, and then Doc Ock is like, "The hell!"
Well,
He's been able to kill us at any point of any one of our fights ever. Yeah, he's that dude.
thinking about that, then we have to relate that to Hulk's strength, right? Like when he's punching Chitauri on the streets of New York, like, and they're just going flying and they're not like being pulverized by each punch. Is Hulk fighting, like, not fighting, holding back? Can Hulk hold back?
I don't think so, but I also think that speaks more to the resilience of the Chitauri rather than... Because, like, they're still going flying, right? Just because they don't splat just means that they're built of stronger stuff. right? But they're still getting hit by, a freight train punch, and they're just going flying, right?
Also, his fist is roughly the size of their body. So it is dispersing a lot of impact.
Weight distribution, power distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way.
What about when he punches Iron Man?
It's a tough suit. No. But the thing about Iron Man that gets me physics wise is like, yes, you're in a suit, but you're still a body inside of there,
Yeah,
and you're
that's what I
still
mean.
like a brain inside of a skull. So like,
That's getting jostled around. It's like a grape in a tin can. The
Yeah.
tin can's fine, grape's screwed. That's the same analogy I gave my mom when I had an 86 Olds, and I'm like, Mom, this car has lap belts and no airbags. And she's like, yeah, but it's like made out of like solid steel. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a grape in a tin can. You can
Yeah.
shake the can's fine.
Fried Noodles just finished it. What did you think, Fried Noodles?
What up, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, if we're thinking about just overall power scaling, it doesn't really make sense in
No,
fantasy.
and it's not supposed to. It's supposed to just be fun.
you know,
Also, like, one of the things that is not really talked about, whenever we're talking about Hawkeye, it always comes down to the realism of his aim, but no one talks about the realism of the arrows. Like, if he hits something far away and doesn't miss, there's the fantasy of never missing. But there's also the fantasy that the arrow still has the same piercing power and does not lose kinetic energy as it's flying, right? You're imagining the arrow has like a little rocket behind it that's keeping up the inertia, right? So if you hit with like a 30-inch carbon arrow that's being fired out of like a 150 draw, and then you hit something like a mile away, it's not gonna.
I don't think he hits anything a mile away, though.
Well, all right. Direct example.
Couple 100 feet, right? But like
Direct example is when he fires at the helicarrier, and it curves because of the wind resistance, comes right back and then pierces the hull of the helicarrier. It wouldn't do that. It would glance because it loses all of its kinetic energy.
I mean, comic books, Hawkeye, his bow has a draw weight of 250 pounds.
But also at the same time too, like it can. The tough thing is with the like parabolic arc of things, the gravity of it getting pulled back in as well will help negate a lot of the resistance you run into. That's why people say don't shoot a bow straight up, because it's going to be like getting shot point blank by it. It would lose some, yeah, but it's also light, sharp, and still flying down at something. So I don't know. I think that's not too terribly far off. I think that the aiming part's the crazier thing, because there's just so much in motion, and with things like wind resistance and things like that, like it is what it is. But I do love the scene in Hawkeye when it's just like the montage when they're like, how'd you lose your hearing? And it's just the montage of him and just like getting his butt kicked in like every fight, and like, yeah, I'm just a guy.
I don't know if the aiming
In
thing
explosions and
I don't think the aiming thing is more fantastical. There are archers out there, like on YouTube videos, that have really, really precision aiming, like rapid fire on moving targets, on targets that are beyond like 60 yards. Like,
yeah, but you said a mile
they're consistent.
and in the sky. Like it's fantastic, right? Like it's also something too that it's like a lot of times it's in very not necessarily controlled spaces, but kind of controlled spaces. Whereas like all of his stuff is he's not expecting like, yeah, they're gonna shoot this thing up here and then I'm gonna catch it when it's midair up there. It's there's a dude flying on a spaceship thing in an army, and I'm just gonna do that and shoot, and it's going right for his face.
Hawkeye like has to
Right,
be super
like-
strong.
with the no look
it's-
shots too.
Yeah, it's instant. It's insane distances, insane trajectories, not predicted, not planned. It's purely reactionary and skill based.
Hawkeye has to be super strong to do shit he does. Yeah. Like, listen, he's not a normal human. He's not even peak physical human strength. They had a traditional English longbow, which is about 150 pounds of draw, and they had like a strongman pull it, and he was like.
To be fair, a lot of strongmen train specific things, and that's why you see like a rock climber that benches the same.
Yeah, but
And
you
it's
know,
like, yeah.
they even had professional archers drawing on it, and it was still like it was only 150, and it was still nearly impossible to hold it, and they had to like.
But it's
and then release it.
that's
quickly.
why compound bows are as effective as they are, though.
Right, but
Yeah,
Hawkeye's
but his
initial
point
hump
is-
of it.
Is
It's
in the
still
comments,
hard,
Hawkeye's
yeah.
is 250.
He's still jacked. Yeah.
which is beyond what any
Mm-hmm.
human archer has ever done.
Mhm.
Like there's
Oh,
there's
100%.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
have any record.
Chaco, can I quickly talk about something in Creature Commandos that got me hyped?
Ooh,
I haven't seen
Creature
it yet.
Commandos was so good. Oh,
I liked
man.
it.
But I can dip too. Peach needs to go out.
No, it's fine.
She's been panicking.
We're about to end the stream anyway.
Oh yeah, we'll be wrapping up. So message me on Instagram.
Ooh, I love that show. Coin Operated Boy was such a good song.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
was
you guys can talk about it. I've had plenty of time to see it.
no, we're not gonna get heavily deep into it. I mean, like again, we're just about to wrap things up here anyway. I have to hit the grind here soon, and just to kind of no, Cal doesn't need to close his ears. We're not talking about it. I will say, on an ambiguous level,
With headphones.
I didn't expect nearly half of the things that happened in that show. And I didn't expect to walk away supremely attracted to Frankenstein's bride. What was her name? What was her name? The bride?
Yeah. But that's a good call because I need to have a hat that is GI Robot. I need a GI Robot hat.
You should get one
Oh,
with
boy. Nazis.
you should get one with a hot swappable patch thing, so you can just
Like Mollyweb.
like I have on my jacket. The patches that Velcro.
Yeah, but I need to have color options. You know what I mean? Like
Have that as
You know,
well.
in the blue.
just Velcro patches with color on it.
It's the whole like brim of the hat can Velcro on and off.
Or no, it's just
floppy.
the removable brim where you just go.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
You
You just-
Okay. I mean, I'm game for that. Shoot.
That's money right there. Well, not right
Oh,
now.
no.
The markets are pretty crazy. I'd
Where are
hold
we gonna
on
order
to
from?
I'd hold
China?
on to all of your
Yeah.
your hot ideas for now. I can't wait to see what he does next with the DC stuff. Whimsical DC is so back. Also, Batman coming into the universe with all his kids already is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for to see what James Gunn does with the next Superman, with where DC goes next, because my thinking on it is that it can only go up from here because I wasn't such a huge fan of the
It's rock
Snyderverse.
bottom.
You know,
Listen, iron sharpens iron, right? You know, we need. They try to do exactly what the MCU was doing, which is weird because Justice League was literally the same movie as the first Avengers movie. They were the same movie, but now they're doing something different. There's going to be an established universe that we're jumping into, and since he's going whimsical, it means that we will be able to set a status quo, and then we can build from there. That's what has me excited. I think the superhero genre, we are above and beyond origin stories. I still enjoy them from time to time, but they're not required for everything.
Oh, yeah.
And we can, you know, and by the way, in the comics, a lot of characters are just introduced, like in an issue. The person just pops in.
we can have,
you know, and it's not until they gain popularity that they get
A new threat
origin
approaches.
story.
Who's this?
we can definitely
next issue.
have, we can definitely have introductory movies and establishing hero movies. That's not an origin story, but rather establishing their modus and their motivations, and you know why they exist, but like not like where the first two acts of the movie is them kind of being a normal person and then something catastrophic happens that causes them to
Yeah.
get powers or something or another. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I agree with that 100%. We don't need, especially if they ever have to do they have to do Batman again, or is that canon to James Gunn? Pattinson's Batman.
It'll be a different Batman, but they won't have to.
If they
it.
do
We've seen
another
it
Batman, we
100,000 times.
really don't need to see the pearls.
If I
and
see
the-
another pearl necklace, I'm
we don't
gonna
need to see
flip.
that. We don't need to see the cave in the bag. Just
I'm gonna lose it.
we just need to. So the establishing shot of that new Batman is just somebody committing a crime, and he comes down and, who are you? I'm Batman. And that's it.
Batman. Ah. Yeah.
You know, the zeitgeist has changed. Which is why I'm thankful for just the MCU in general, and even Disney buying Star Wars. It has made Star Wars and Marvel comics and everything mainstream. It's like,
Well, it's made it less of a chore too, if I'm being honest. Because there's a lot of times when like, it's like, well, who's this character? I don't know. Here, read 50 comics, and it's like, well, wanna.
I mean, the cool thing is like, there's gonna be kids who went to Disneyland and got to spend time in Star Wars before ever seeing the movie or knowing what it is, and they're like, "Oh, who's that over there?" Well, let's watch the movie, and then they'll watch The Force Awakens for the first time, and you're like, and they're gonna be like, "Man, I met her. I was on that planet." That's gonna be really cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna envy that.
but there's also
Or,
no,
like,
there's
a
also
kid
no
that-
stigma either. Like when you want to go to the movies with your friends and watch the latest Marvel or DC movie, it's not like, really, comic book movies. They're like, oh shit, yeah, that's out, you know.
Yeah, let's go see it. That's something that I've never understood is people, because like I get it, big corporation buying thing that is precious to you, you don't want to see it ruined or whatever, but it's like, especially for a lot of the stuff, it's like there's just nothing coming out for it. If you want nothing over what we're getting, then that's on you. But it's like, I would rather, you know, have a show like this to watch with my friends and be hype about, and go to Galaxy's Edge with my friends and stuff like that. But like, I do envy the kid that goes to Galaxy's Edge and then is reading a book and reads about Black Rock Spire and they're like, I went there as a kid. Like,
Or just seeing people.
that's a unique moment.
Yeah, seeing kids that idolize Mando, idolize Din and Grogu, and they know nothing about Yoda and Anakin. It's like, that's their Star Wars. So like, yeah, it's really fun to
Or
see.
Vimerati.
I mean, it's the same thing with what Critical Role has done with D&D. It's like nobody bats an eyelash. Like you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, like, oh, that's the, you know, where they roll and shit. Like having someone like Deborah Ann Woll explaining D&D to John Bernthal.
That's a fun video.
It's so cool. And I can't believe this is the zeitgeist that we live in, where a lot of the stuff that we liked as kids that was so niche and kind of like nerdy, I say with air quotes. And
I was like, he started talking to the owlbear. He's like, "Are you a friend?" He's like, you're gonna talk to it. Cool. All right.
He was locked in from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
His first question was like, "Do I see it?" Like that was the opposite of me in our first one shot, where I was metagaming to fucking hell. I remember when we did our Star Wars one, I was metagaming, like when they were describing what had happened with I forget his character's name, but it was the Twi'lek, or he was a Nautilin ambassador or something, and he had shot someone. My character didn't know what had happened in that room, but I walked in,
It was you.
I was like, "It's him! I see he has a gun," and it was like, "No, you don't see it. You have to roll for that stuff."
Yep. But it's a fun way to like experience from like a different perspective, right? And like taking yourself outside of yourself to be like, no, but like, what would this character do in this moment? Like, what would they be thinking? And kind of like really putting your brain in another body to pilot for a minute. And it's so fun. It lets you honestly learn more about yourself in a safe way as well. Yeah. Of just like, you know what? I'm actually not okay with murder hobo syndrome.
I took full
we don't
advantage.
have a place to live and we're just going around killing everybody.
I took full advantage of that on our second one shot with Malik. I knew I could do whatever I wanted, and Chaco couldn't react to it because his character didn't see me. He's just talking to the main boss. I was like, and then he was like, "Okay, Pep, what do you want to do? I want to shoot him." He's like,
Yeah.
It's also tough too. I always feel like as somebody who's DM'd a bit and played a fair amount of tabletop role playing games, like I always think everybody's first character is a mirror of themselves. Of like, oh, it's me, but a tiefling rogue, right? But like you play very much as yourself. And then like the next character a lot of people make is such a wild antithesis of who they are as a person, of like, okay, now I'm going to be a gnome bard who's obsessed with muffins and like tries to put them in everybody's pockets and then sing songs about it. It's like, what? It goes to like some other realm because they realize like, oh, I can do whatever I want. I can like whatever my mind can come up with. I want to try that. Yeah. And so it gets delightful.
What do you guys think of the D&D class changes? Have you seen the BG3 update? I have not. Unsure of what those changes are.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say. So Baldur's Gate 3 just had their patch 8 go live, which includes a whole bunch of new subclasses and some fixes and added stuff.
Interesting.
So if you haven't finished it, or if you have finished it, and that would be a good time to give it another go.
If you guys want to see the Dyad run a dual Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, like the video, comment, and subscribe, and they'll stream it live for you guys. Except they'll have to turn censored mode on because scaly PP does not do well for the algorithm. I only know from experience.
Well, we do have a campaign out there that's just kind of
that's in Act 1 at like the second camp. All of us playing Brandon and I playing Dragonborns laying naked while you're trying to flirt with people.
It's just the way the camera does it.
It's always so funny.
Lent to that joke. It's like chest.
It started out
for like 5 minutes, and then, hey, do you want to go to sleep and wait until tomorrow? Yeah, and then like ground level shot at Dragon Peen, and I was like, why are you guys naked?
It started out as a bit Or it started out as an accident, I think. And then it was like one of our cutscenes, somebody's just walking behind, fully nude, and they're like, "Hey yo, hey yo," and then it's just like, okay, now every time you get the opportunity to interrupt someone's sleep or cutscene, like the very thought-provoking heart-to-heart cutscene, and then you just see like a dancing dragonborn
Yeah.
in the background.
All
Commonly
right.
gold.
Well, that'll do it for this this Yoda's Hut. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and for tuning in. It was a blast. Our Andor coverage will be offline, so expect those reactions to drop when Andor premieres. Again, we're partnering with Get Free for the Project Fulcrum. So if you want to go over there and sign up for their newsletter, we'll be talking about it each week as well. Catch us this Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific when we're going to be talking about the new book, Mask of Fear. It's not new, but came out a couple of weeks ago, and it is quite relevant to what we'll be covering with Andor as it premieres as well. We'll be joined by Mara J. Skywalker, or Beth, yet again, Chase, Forward Into the Black, and making his surprise return to WWE, Pod One's podcast is Luke Eggin.
Whoop,
And
whoop.
when we go live, I'll introduce Luke to some glass shattering, boom, 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 and then I'll introduce him as Tamar from Rings of Power. Anyways, guys, final thoughts, goodbyes, say them.
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. I want Daredevil season 2 now. That's it.